Prior to entering the war, the U.S. claimed neutrality. During this time, though, America supplied Britain and other Allied countries with the wartime supplies. This pledge to neutrality, however, was greatly shaken when a German U-boat sunk the British liner Lusitania in 1915, killing 128 Americans on board. The use of this unrestricted warfare and the suspected sabotage of the Black Tom ammunition supply in New Jersey caused a public outcry, forcing the U.S. to join the Allied forces against Germany. World War I, as a whole, had 20th century technology, but was fought with 19th century tactics.
Being one of the first recoil-operating firing systems, the Maxim gun brought a whole new aspect to trench warfare. Produced in Britain by the Maxim Gun Company, the U.S. relied heavily upon the firepower of this British weapon to halt advancing troops throughout Europe. Though other countries copied the ideas of the Maxim gun, such as Germany's Maschinengewehr 8, these knockoffs were not nearly as reliable or had the firepower the Maxim gun provided. These guns could fire up to 500 rounds a minute while being belt-fed. With an increased rate of firepower, the barrel had to be water-cooled to keep from overheating. These guns not only saw heavy use on the ground, but were mounted to planes as well to use in air-to-air combat. With the entry of the United States into the First World War, it also found itself without many of the modern devices necessary on the battlefields of Europe. With time short, the U.S. Army was supplied by the French and British with many weapons missing from its inventory, including the hand grenade. America, evaluating those weapons, developed versions better suited to the desires of the War Department. 4 were produced in time to see combat use, including the Mk2 defensive fragmentation, the Mk3 offensive blast, the Mk2 gas, and the Mk2 phosphorus.
Now, what is this gun?
That's a M1917 that was developed for issue to the British Army by the United States. And when the United States came into the war, the shortage of weapons that we had, we actually started using it. Sergeant York, for example, who's the most famous, most decorated soldier in World War I for the American Army, was using that weapon to capture as many Germans as he did. And it was replaced by the M1903. And it's, in fact, this weapon right here is the 1903. A much better weapon than the M1917. Both 30 caliber, both very effective, good weapons. This particular weapon was modified, and we developed what was known as the M1903A3 that was used by the United States Army all through the World War I, the 20s, 30s, and went into World War II when we were on the Philippines surrendering a Corregidor. Most of our soldiers were using the M1903A3. Again, a 30 caliber weapon, very good weapon. In fact, the 1903 A3 held more national match records for competition firing than any other American weapon we've ever developed.
Gas first became a major part during this war, being fired from artillery pieces such as the M1918. Though only causing 4% of deaths during the war, the effect of the gas on the soldiers was immense. Different gases such as chlorine, mustard gas, and tear gas caused severe blistering, irritation, blindness, and excruciating pain. Throughout the course of the war, soldiers became accustomed to gas attacks. Having been equipped with the gas mask, they were trained how to quickly put them on. The mask, along with long-sleeve clothing, helped protect many soldiers from the harmful gas.
The primary tank during World War I by the Allied forces was the British Mark IV. Having tracks all the way around allowed the tank to be very mobile when compared to the German A7V tank. The primary role of tanks throughout World War I was to break the stalemate of trench warfare. This idea, however, was only partially successful. Because tanks were so new, many were unreliable and constantly broke down. A total of 1,220 Mark IVs were produced, and roughly the same number of German A7V tanks were built. The Mark IV was operated by a crew of 8 with an armament of 5.303 Lewis machine guns for the female tanks and 3 machine guns and 2 6-pound guns for the male tanks.